Hello, City Council members. My name is Jennifer Hiraoka, and I am the city's relatively new Senior Manager, Internal Controls, Interim Controller. I started with the city in May of this year and am filling the position vacated by the former Senior Manager, Internal Controls, Christine Williams, when she retired at the end of 2020. For those of you that I haven't met, I look forward to meeting you and working with you. Today, I am here to present an update on the corrective action plan for the fiscal years 2015 to 2020 single audits. Today, our recommendation is that City Council receive the update on the corrective action plan from staff. First on today's agenda is to provide an update on the status of the corrective action plan. The last update was provided earlier this year in April 2021. You will see that not much change has happened between April and now, but we have committed to provide an update on the correction active plan status every 6 months, so we have elected to keep with that schedule and provide you with today's update. Next on the agenda will be to highlight the continued progress the city continues to make in the areas of strengthening our system of internal controls. You've seen this slide before. This slide details the corrective action plan status definitions. Today, I'll only be highlighting the definitions that apply to the current unresolved remaining corrective action plan items. The remaining corrective action plan items fall into two corrective action plan definitions. First is to be tested. This definition is applied when the corrective action is complete and ready for our auditors to test during the next single audit. Our next single audit is scheduled for January of 2022. The other corrective action plan status definition that applies to the open unresolved findings is in progress. The in progress definition is applied when staff is taking steps towards implementation but has not yet completed this implementation. So the in progress corrective action items are not yet ready for the auditors to test. This next slide highlights the results of the fiscal year 2020 single audit, which resulted in one additional finding, four previous findings remaining unresolved, and no material weakness. The new additional finding is in the area of information technology general controls, and due to their sensitive nature, these findings are communicated to City Council via separate confidential written reports. You can see from this slide that the city has made substantial progress and only has 5 total unresolved audit findings. This slide highlights the corrective action plan status through October 2021. If we go through these details, there were 184 total findings, of which 26 were repeat findings, resulting in 158 total unique findings. Of those, 139 were complete, 14 were passed and no longer required correction. There are 5 that remain to be tested. You'll note that in April, we indicated that there were 6 that remained to be tested. However, there was a clerical error in the audit report, so the proper number of total unresolved unique findings is 5. The outstanding remaining findings can be classified into 2 definitions. One is to be tested, and the other is in progress. There are 3 findings that are ready to be tested by our auditors, Edie and Payne. They are the notes receivable finding, the lease agreements finding, and the pensions plans finding. The corrective actions were put in place and implemented by the Housing Department, the Finance Department, and the Human Resources Payroll Department, respectively. We anticipate that the auditors will test these remaining corrective actions sometime between now and January. For the findings that are in progress, City staff is in the process of updating the indirect cost allocation plan. The Finance Department is preparing a request for proposal for a consulting company firm to help prepare an indirect cost allocation plan. For the Information Technology General Controls finding, the IT department is in the process of implementing policies and procedures to resolve this finding, and the updates will be provided to City Council via separate confidential written report. This slide shows a bar graph which depicts the unresolved audit findings. You will see that the CAP status as of October 2021 is in green and looks very similar to the CAP status as of March 2021, our last update. This slide highlights the progress the city continues to make towards strengthening our system of internal controls. One item was to hire a senior manager internal controls to fill the position vacated by Christine Williams, the former Senior Manager Internal Controls, when she retired at the end of 2020. Next, the city is in the process of adopting an internal control integrated framework policies. So far, we've adopted 8 policies, with the 8th policy implemented in June 2021. The 9th and final policy will be implemented in December 2021. We continue to provide ongoing training to staff. In December, the finance department staff will be attending a generally accepted accounting principles update to make sure that finance stays abreast of accounting methods and practices. On November 9th, the Finance and Governance Committee received a training on risk management provided by the city's auditors, Edie and Payne. Finally, the ERP implementation is ongoing. We expect that numerous financial and process controls will be enhanced in conjunction with the Munis implementation. We are still on track to go live in July 2022. Lastly, that concludes our presentation. Our recommendation is that City Council receive this update on the corrective action plan. Thank you.